Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. So the other day, yesterday, time of recording, Bobby Vala posted on Instagram that the Vanguard is going up for pre-order sometime next week. He didn't give any specific days, any specific dates. He just said sometime next week. So sometime between the 8th and the 12th of January, this is going up for pre-order. This is a very interesting piece to me, and when we were talking about Wave 4, Series 4, I said we'd talk about the Vanguard. So here we go, let's talk about it. This is Bobby Vala's, the Valaverse, the Action Force's first foray into any kind of vehicle. Like, he skipped the easy ones. There were no motorcycles, there were no hang gliders, there were no gyrocopters, no ski boats, no snowmobiles, no nothing. He just went straight to this. And I kind of get why he did that, because you don't want to sit on this. You want to strike while the iron is hot. And right now, with things, crowdfunders going up like the Robo Skull, the Hiss Tank, the Dragonfly, and the Vamp going up for sale on Pulse, you want to jump on something like this because, quite frankly, you don't know how long this craze is going to last. And what I mean by that is, this past year when I went to RetroCon, follow me on this. This past year when I went to RetroCon, I saw a Hasbro Black Series TIE Fighter. And it was in the box, it was new, and I think, I can't remember how much that went for, but I think that went for like $300, maybe, when it was new. And they sold that on the shelf, and it was one of the reasons, I believe, why they started going to HasLabs, because that big vehicle didn't really sell well because of how big it was. And the one that I saw at RetroCon sold for $30. There was a price tag on it for $30, and I laughed and I said, I think you missed a zero there. And the vendor said, no, I've had it for years. I just want it gone. And I considered buying it because I have that Robo Skull coming. Like, it would have been a cool piece to put next to the Robo Skull. But then you think about how big that TIE Fighter is. Where would I have put it? It was huge, and I'm not a Star Wars Black Series collector. So I didn't have any Star Wars figures to go with it except maybe Jaina Solo, but even then, it would have just looked weird trying to fit it into my G.I. Joe Classified line. So while some part of me is kicking myself for not getting it, the other part of me is like, would it have even fit in the car? There were 4 of us and all of our gear, all of our luggage. Would it have even fit in the car for the ride home? Probably not. I bring that up because this, the Vanguard, is big. Like, he put a photo, Bobby Vala that is, put a photo up of it next to the Hiss Tank. And I don't want to say it dwarfs the Hiss Tank, but it is larger, I think a little bit taller, definitely longer than the Hiss Tank is. And even though I still have my Hiss Tank in a box, gotta open that thing up. I have opened it and I've taken it out. The Hiss Tank is big. The Hiss Tank is not small. Whoops. So I do wonder, with people getting things like the Hiss Tank, getting things like the Dragonfly, getting things like the Robo Skull, getting things like even this Vanguard or even the Vamp, how long is this 1/12 scale vehicle craze going to last? At what point are people going to have all of these vehicles and say, I just don't have any room for this? Like, I heard the other day that there's a rumor, and this is like a completely unsubstantiated rumor. It's the beginning of the year. I'm not putting much stock into it, but it's just the idea that there is the rumor going around that the 2024 HasLab for G.I. Joe is going to be the Rattler. Now, I love the Rattler. The Rattler was awesome. The Rattler was iconic for very many reasons, not the least of which because it's based off of the A-10 Warthog, the Thunderbolt. But what would you do with it? Where would you put it? Like, the Rattler at the 6-inch scale, at the 1/12 scale, would be huge. It would be so big, like it would be that TIE fighter all over again. So I get why Bobby went straight for this, because who knows how much longer people are actually going to be buying these 1/12 vehicles. I may be completely off. People may just keep buying them and not putting them out and keeping them in boxes. I don't know. I may be way off on that, but I have a feeling that lessons learned from the Black Series with the TIE Fighter and the Snowspeeder, I kind of have a feeling that this may not last as long as people think it's going to last. And I don't mean the Vanguard, I just mean 1/12 scale vehicles in general. Now, on to this. It's coming in two colors. It's coming in Desert Tan and Stealth Gray. And that's really the only difference in them, is the colors. It's going to go up for pre-order sometime next week. The price on it is $184.99, so basically $185. Now, also on the website, it says that the shipping on the Vanguard is going to be $14 for the US. International shipping is going to be calculated at checkout by region. So depending on where you live, if you don't live in the US, you know the shipping is going to be more than $14. I don't know what international costs go for. Go with God on that one, okay? May the odds be forever in your favor. So in the US, we know that that is going to be at least $200. Let's just start that right off the bat. Price on it, shipping and all, is going to be $200 for the Vanguard. So the next question is, what do you get with the Vanguard? Well, you get a vehicle that's over 20 inches long. By the way, if you go to the Valaverse website, I don't think you can just click on the Vanguard. You had to get the web address off of his Instagram post, I think. At least that's where I saw it. And I'll put a link to it in the description below. I'll also put a link to it in the pinned comment, so you can check that out. But the Vanguard is going to be over 20 inches long. It has 4 removable doors, which that is kind of cool, that you can like pop the doors off and just have like an open side vehicle. Turning the steering wheel will turn the front tires, always like that. Working front winch, always like that. Don't know how long the string on the winch is going to be, but if you were a child of the 80s and you had little like winches that had a string that long, you are well adapted just ripping that off and putting a piece of twine on there and making it as long as you want to. So there's that. So you're going to get the working winch. The top hatch can be removed to install machine gun turret or the missile launcher. That's what I was talking about, that you might be able to get 6 figures in there, because you could put 4 inside and you could put 1 in the turret. And I will show you where number 6 goes in a moment. Actually, I'm going to show you right now, because there's a control arm rifle fits on the turret or inside the trunk. You can pop the back hatch, put the swing arm machine gun in there. Looks like an M60, and then just have somebody in the trunk just hanging out and, you know, rock and roll. The removable shovel accessory, which that is on the front fender. We've seen that. We've talked about that. And then you will be getting the Reaper driver. And as a bonus for pre-ordering it, here's the thing that kind of offsets the price and offsets the $14 in shipping, that we know this missile launcher right here, I believe, is going to be an add-on once the Vanguard goes up for sale. You buy the Vanguard and then you can get the missile launcher in either the Stealth Gray or the Desert Tan. Now, if you pre-order it, that is thrown in with the package. So for no additional money, you'll get the missile launcher as well. And I think he mentioned this already. I think he talked about this already. But if you didn't know, pre-ordering gets you the missile launcher as well. You also get the 6-inch Reaper driver. And when you look at the image of everything you get with the Vanguard, the accessories, the weapons, the blast effects, you can see the figure in the corner on a figure stand. And the only other photo that we have that seems to feature the Reaper driver is this one right there. I mean, it is what it is. It's basically his standard infantry guy with his standard infantry gear, maybe a little bit of a special paint deco. Unfortunately, the only close-up we see is the one that's in the desert tan. We don't get a close-up of the one for the stealth gray, which you can see right here, which is unfortunate because I would much rather see a close-up of the stealth gray figure and what they did with his paint deco rather than the desert tan one. But once again, it is what it is. And I don't know, like the way that they were talking about the Reaper driver, you know, unique figure, unique driver figure, I was really expecting something more. I was expecting something unique. I didn't know if Reaper was going to be a named character or if he was going to be an army builder. It makes sense that he's an army builder, that the Reaper is just like a type of troop builder, because then if you buy more than one Vanguard, each one of them will be able to have, you know, its own driver. I'm still a little disappointed that it's just this dude. And it doesn't look like he has any additional head sculpts. But once again, these are preliminary photos. Once it actually goes up for pre-order, there may be more that we'll get. There may be more that we'll see. We may see more accessories that come with him. We may see an unmasked head that gives him a more unique look, other than just having, like, you know, the desert tan ski mask or like the stealth ski mask. But I'm just moving up closer to the screen so I can take a look at it. But I don't know, that the driver, I feel like at this point that if you collect Action Force, you have this guy. In one way or another, you have this figure. And that's the biggest disappointment to me. I feel like they could have left this figure out and maybe brought the price of the whole thing down about $30, which that would have put it at $155. And then with shipping and handling, it would have been, what, $170? I don't know. I could have done without the added figure, but that's just me. Some people may love it. I have no doubt that some people are going to love it. So it also comes with a sticker sheet, a unique sticker sheet. And we've seen things like this before that, like, you know, the vehicle itself has deco on it, but the sticker sheet that it comes with, you can customize it, put the stickers on wherever you want. You know, give it your own little, its own look, its own flair. So that's the Vanguard. And I'm quite honestly on the fence about it, because on one hand, I dig that it's a vehicle that could be used to transport a bunch of figures. Let's be honest, for me, it would be G.I. Joe. I dig that it's a vehicle that can be used to transport a bunch of Joes. I dig that you can get 6 figures in it, because even though it's taking up a pretty big footprint, you can also pack it full of figures and sort of make like a little set piece out of it. But I don't know. I don't know. I have no doubt that there's going to be people that are going to look at this, they're going to love it, they're going to say it trounces the Hiss tank. That's fine. That's your opinion. But I don't know. This might be the breaking point for me, that it's just, where would I put this? Where would I put this? Like, the Hiss tank is probably going to go in that cabinet right there. The Dragonfly is probably going to go on top of that cabinet once I get rid of Queen Anne's Revenge. But this, I don't know. I don't know. The other thing that kind of shies me away from it, and I think I talked about this when we first talked about the Vanguard, when he announced it or when he showed it off, is that it looks too civilian to me. Even with the missile rack on top, even with the machine gun hanging out the back, like, you can put the machine gun on the back and you can have the guy just like balled up in the trunk, but that's really what it is. He's just balled up in the trunk. Like, it looks more like something that would have been in, you know, Olympus Has Fallen or White House Down or something like that. Or the stealth gray one looks like you could use it for, you know, Nick Fury's ride in Marvel Legends, the Shield SUVs. I don't know. I really don't know. If I am gonna get it, I probably will pre-order it, if for no other reason, so I get the missile pack with it to sort of add that in, you know, sort of like make the price more worth it. Oh, and speaking of the price, don't forget, remember this. If you've never ordered from Valaverse before, they take the money up front. So they take the money the day you pre-order it. So just be aware of that, that when you pre-order, you're going to pay that day. It's not going to be like Big Bad Toy Store or a HasLab or something. This isn't crowdfunded where they won't charge you until it ships. You're going to pay up front for the Vanguard. Just remember that when you're placing your orders. The $14 for shipping, I don't know. I feel like for this much, shipping could have been thrown in. But then again, the $185 is probably the lowest price they could have gone on for the vehicle. So maybe I can understand why they're still charging you for shipping. Yeah, I can see that. Because $185 for something that big in today's market, it's roughly going to be twice the price of the Vamp, but I feel like it's twice the size, if not a little more, than the Vamp. So, what do you think? Honestly, engage down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Vanguard. Are you going to pre-order the Vanguard? Are you on the fence about the Vanguard? Like I said, my things are, is it too big? And that figure, that driver doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah. I do like how they have it set up that you have the gas tanks in there. I like the idea that you can take the doors off. I appreciate that they're throwing the missile pack in with it. The working winch, the turning tires. They didn't bog it down with electronics to raise the price even more. You're basically paying for the tooling for all the different parts, for the doors moving, the top hatch popping off and being able to either put a turret or a missile pack up top. Also, you can see that you get some really excellent, the only picture they put of the turret on top is this one right here. And I like how you got like it looks like two M2s with box feeds from either side. But one thing that they didn't show you in this picture, and I'm going to see if I can scour like the Instagram, Valaverse's Instagram, because I think there's a pretty decent shot of that turret with the blast effects, is that like they have a joined blast effect that's made specifically for those turret guns. So it looks like muzzle flash from both of them coming out. That's really cool too. But is it worth $200? That's what I'm going to have to think about. I'm guessing a lot of people watching this are going to have to think about this. So let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Vanguard. Let's talk about your feelings on it. Do you think it's a decent military vehicle, or would you get it for something like Marvel Legends and use it for the Shield SUVs? Like, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw the stealth gray ones, was that scene in, what was it? I think it was Winter Soldier, when Fury was basically trapped in his SUV and it was up on the side and like it was taking shot after shot after shot. It's kind of like the Beast, man. Like, I don't know. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked what we were talking about, please drop me a like as well. It really helps out the channel, gets the video out there into the algorithm. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, which according to the analytics, most people who are watching this aren't subscribed, only 60 to 70% of them are, go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're down there. What could it hurt? And until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.